welcome to the Gogol building. We've been in this building since 2008. It used to be the Czechoslovakian embassy, and now it has been a building where there have been like 3 or 4 different companies doing our business from here. It's going to turn into a fashion and media house in the future. So it's changing its appearance also. And this might be one of the last great events in this building. And the events that we hold, they are great because of you. So we're here, and when we're on stage, we're not always talking about stuff that we've been digging deep into for a long time. We also go on stage in areas where we search and where we hunt for new information and where we try to see how we can apply, deploy, and utilize this information in different ways. The core reason for why we do this is that we are opportunity seekers. We look and find and try to develop these opportunities so that we and our clients can develop our businesses. We look for new ways of doing this, and we try to be on the forefront the whole time. So already some time ago, we started thinking about, do we as an organization only want to become bigger? Is growth really the only area we seek to develop towards? Or do we want to become better? And putting our minds together, we found that becoming better actually makes us bigger in many ways. And the same thing goes with data. We shouldn't always look at only trying to collect more and more and more. We have to understand how to utilize the data we have in better ways. And I think that today's talk by Robert and Niklas, who will be introduced soon, is a bit about this. So the reason I mentioned you as an audience and us on stage we're still seeking is that we need your feedback, we need your questions, we need your experiences and your remarks. And we want you to continue feeding these to us even after the event. The event is just a starting point. So feel free to keep in touch with us on these topics and subjects. Now, in 1999, I held one of my first speeches on innovation. And I was talking at the time about the zero-time company. We actually have Daniel. Can't you raise your hand? Daniel worked with us in 99. So at the time, we were building a company called Freedo. And Freedo's idea was to do market research in real time. So we were thinking, what will happen if you have real-time information on your clients, as opposed to those companies that take 16 to 20 weeks to gather and analyze the information of consumer behavioral. So we wanted to take this to real time, and we managed. And it's very interesting, because today I think that's one of the most important things of what you can do, is actually to anticipate your client's need. To become a zero-time company is not to be a bank where the client steps in and says, "Hi, what can I help you with?" It's being a bank where the customer steps in and the bank already knows everything about the customer, so they can help the customer with a tailor-made solution on time at target. And that's just the idea of a bank. So can we do that with a car? Can we do that with a watch? Can we do that with a service, with healthcare, etc.? That's what we keep thinking of. The problem is if you are delayed in understanding your market and you do it too late, since we're being filmed here, I'm not going to use the word I wanted to use now. You're in trouble, right? You're not effed, you're in trouble. So you need to move the sort of starting point for your next S-curve upwards to when you think you don't need it. That's when you should really do it, right? And to do that, you need to understand clients even further. further up the line earlier on. So we think a lot about how do you integrate data into your innovation process and why? Well, the reason you do it is because you want to differentiate much better. You can use it to create more efficiency, etc. But you really want to differentiate better. And you differentiate through relations. And data can tell you a lot about relations. So again, going back to why you innovate, these are really, you don't innovate to create waste. Waste is a result of innovation. And what you want to do is minimize waste. So using data is actually a way of getting better at focusing your innovation process towards that which is relevant, towards that which will build your aims, if those are strategic or financial. But you have to fail. You have to go out and fail, otherwise you can't innovate. But you can be better, you can accomplish more with the resources you have. And the way we want to apply big data is really how, when it comes to selecting which projects to choose and how to allocate resources. I think all of you are familiar with sort of this picture, at least if you've heard me talk before. These are 10 areas or 10 types of innovation that you can focus on. So you don't innovate only around your core offering. You innovate around your business model or profit model, around processes, around networking, etc. And actually what this one shows is that for each area, the first bar is how much has been invested in American companies in a survey done about 6 years ago. The second bar is the absolute results. And the third bar is when you divide one with the other, you get the return on investment. And it shows us that pure product development, the way it's been done, doesn't generate the same return of investment as when you work in other areas. So are we saying that you should stop developing your offering? No, of course not. What we're saying is you need to combine these, and you need to be relevant. And data will help you drive your focus towards what is relevant. So I think this is a picture that really spoke to me. An important thing in this picture is to understand that when you're passive, you're not optimizing the use of the data you have. And as you cross the tipping point and you move into becoming predictive, you start optimizing the use of the data you have, finding value in it, and then you start building more data. So I think most organizations actually don't have to worry about collecting much more. You have to start thinking, we have to start thinking about how do we use that better. So that's an important part of this. Another thing I'd like to show you is, a few of you have seen Google's approach to portfolio management. And a very simple way of explaining it is that we need to allocate our resources over time to accomplish improvements in the existing portfolio, to generate new values, and to differentiate our offerings. So we have the three portfolios. One, the portfolio is the offering portfolio, and we put most of our resources in there. And the reason we do this is because that's what generates money, short term. And we have to generate money and strategic value short term. So we focus all our resources there. But what we also know is that the offering portfolio doesn't really build value over long term. What builds value over long term is the project and the idea portfolio managed correctly. We know that 70% of new revenues come from fairly low investments in the early stage of the project portfolio and the idea portfolio. 70% of long-term revenues, and I would say value, is generated from around 10%, or between 10 and 20% of the resources created. Now, so if you remember the Moneyball example, which is about the baseball team, some organizations might still be looking for that one big idea. But what it's about is generating a portfolio that constantly feeds in, so that ideas can go directly, of course, to the offering portfolio. They don't need to become projects. They instantly start developing the current portfolio. Some ideas, they are so good that they can be taken directly out to market as something disruptive. But that's very risky and very unlikely to happen in your organizations. That's more likely to happen in a small entrepreneurial organization. And that's why large organizations need to work with small entrepreneurial organizations, because they can take that risk and you can wait and let them and sort of deploy your resources on helping them scale it instead. Now, what large organizations, and when I speak about large organizations, I'd rather say mature organizations than large. What they need is really to understand that the idea portfolio is very thin when it comes to generating ideas that really become projects. And the big problem is going from that idea portfolio into the project portfolio, and then not falling down into the offering portfolio, but actually taking stuff to the market as something disruptive, something that differentiates. That's difficult, and data will help you select. Using data correctly, you can select which ideas to focus on. That's what we do with our portfolio management methodology. You can focus on the right ideas so that you limit risk and accomplish a better return. So that's how I would say we would take this as an approach ourselves when it comes to how we would deploy data. Now, again, deploying data, if you remember the 10 areas of innovation, we believe data and digitalization, as well as innovation, should be deployed across all 10 areas of innovation. There's a book called 10 Types of Innovation. I'm talking about exactly the same thing, but we don't think it's types, it's areas. So that's why I say areas. So again, insight, really important. Data can give you insight. But then the process of developing an idea into something that's valuable in the market is a process that's continuously expanding and contracting, expanding and contracting. And you need creativity, and you need insights, and you need inspiration throughout this process. But an idea is not innovation. An idea is the beginning, the first part of innovation. The more difficult part, as you all know, is commercialization. And I believe that data can really be used there. And we see more and more organizations using data to be better at commercializing the ideas. And that's going to be the next step of our investigation into this. So most of you know of the network Innovation Pioneers. Kim is here from Innovation Pioneers. So in November, we have the Innovation in Action Symposium. This year, Innovation in Action will focus completely on the latter part of the innovation process, which is sort of, we think, end-to-end. So we've been very idea-focused. Everywhere we go, we talk about ideas, which is good, Jakob. You're doing a great job. But we need to focus on how to commercialize, how to bring to market. So the whole thing will happen, we'll discuss how do you really get a market value out of your ideas. So we'll bring entrepreneurs there who have built, fantastic companies. They've created fans out of their customer base and customers out of their fan base. We'll learn from them. We'll see how other large organizations do this. I think it's valuable. Speak to Kim if you want to see the Innovation Pioneers Symposium. That can be really good for you. Thank you all for coming. It's been great.